It is Money Monday. It's Money Monday. That's my Millie Rock. Today, we're talking about how you can find financial freedom in the cannabis industry, regardless of whether you live in a state that has legalized or not. Which is what I love most about this space. The fact that it offers everyday people like you and me everywhere that are fighting for financial security and opportunity to actually obtain it now. Not when you've wasted your entire youth and adulthood chasing it, but now. So, if you're tired of slaving 50 long weeks a year to earn 2 short, measly weeks of vacation, if it feels like you've hit that glass ceiling and you don't want to wait for your idiot boss to deem you worthy of what you actually deserve, if you're tired of working hard all week just to barely afford being broke, I'm here to tell you that you have something special you can bring to the green industry and go from broke to ballin'. Appropriate? But for real, regardless, this video is for you. And knowing what not to do when you're coming into this space is just as important as knowing what to do. So before we get into the 6 biggest mistakes new entrepreneurs make when entering the industry, subscribe and be sure to join my newsletter, The Fight Club. It's where I share content aimed at helping you fight for a better business, fight for better relationships, fight for a better life. Now, back to the money. Whether you want to be directly involved in the industry where you're touching, growing, processing, or distributing the plant, or better yet, interested in making real money off the ancillary space, there is a place for you. The ancillary space includes everything that doesn't directly touch the plant, like marketing services, product packaging, technology, accounting, information, literally anything that exists as a job now. The cannabis industry is a parallel universe where an opening for that same job exists. It just has a little weed sprinkled on it. Okay. Now, this allows you, person that's been an assistant or mid-level employee on the way up, or anyone in a position where someone else gets to decide when they're good enough to level up. What this industry does is allow you to take your skills, pivot toward weed, and immediately come in as the expert. And if you position yourself the right way, you'll be paid as the expert too. I know this because I've spent the last couple of years getting paid to interview every major player in every facet of the industry, and I began using the insight I gained and connections I've made to help lead new entrepreneurs to financial freedom by discovering, establishing, and leveraging their unique positioning in this space. And there isn't a single person I've worked with that doesn't have something they can bring to this industry. I'm not really into titles. I just help people like you escape the matrix and collect your coins. But before weed, I worked 60, 70-hour work weeks just to stay above board. And finally, when I reached near 6 figures, I spent every ounce of my waking energy earning it while sacrificing my integrity and ignoring the fact that what I was doing was sucking my soul away. That's not how it is anymore. Now I travel when I want, I work when I want, and for someone like me, who grew up one of 7 kids in a single parent home where we were so poor that I slept on the floor till I got my first bed in high school, I can't begin to express how grateful I am to now say I am financially free thanks to my place in this industry. Case in point, I found out I'm gonna have to come up with another $15,000 to $20,000 in legal fees in the next couple of months. And while this would cripple most households because I've found my unique position in this new industry, I'm irritated, but I'm not devastated. because I know I can generate that kind of cash. I know how to create that kind of value and monetize it. For example, my weed web series that took me about an hour or two to make each day got me a $348,000 contract in just 6 months. This is with me using the same exact skills I had as a reporter. I just pivoted and applied them to cannabis, and it's paying off dearly. Now, I would have had to work 12-hour days for 3.5 years for that same $348,000 before this industry. And that new $20,000 bill would have crippled me. I want you to be financially free too. Now, while you're pondering coming over to where the grass is literally greener, keep this list in mind. The 6 biggest mistakes people make when getting into the green space. Number 1, thinking they have to grow or sell green to make money in this industry. That is actually one of the least profitable approaches to this new opportunity. After extremely high barriers of entry that include application, lawyer, and security compliance fees, 280E, and your inability to claim business expenses, audits, and you will be audited, and the cost of constantly changing regulations, there isn't much left. Like here in California, on July 1st of this year, every dispensary had to throw out all of the products that didn't meet packaging and testing standards, which was nearly everything. A couple weeks later, the state turned around and said, we changed our minds. Now, this costs millions in inventory, and things like this are going to continue to happen like they did in Colorado and like they did in Washington, because the industry wants to weed out the smaller players that don't have buckets of capital to keep up. Now, there are a million ways to make $1 million in weed. For most of us, weed isn't directly one of them. Okay. Number 2. Thinking they have to start their new cannabis career from scratch. There is no reason you shouldn't take everything you've been mastering and apply it to cannabis. That, your unique experience, is what is going to add the most value in cannabis, and the more value you add, the more you are compensated. So don't start at zero. Take what you have and pivot. Number 3, trusting amateurs posing as experts. I definitely fell for this one. Just because it's weed doesn't mean everyone is all peace and love and rainbows. In fact, if anything, you need to be more cautious of who you choose to trust your financial freedom with. While the industry's adolescence is what allows you to come in as an expert, scammers see the same opportunity and will tell you everything you want to hear, but have nothing to actually back it up. So do your due diligence, or you're playing yourself. Number 4, being inflexible. The cannabis industry is growing and changing, and if you aren't willing to grow and change with it, if you become unwilling to bend or pivot, you are either going to get left behind or you're gonna catch a charge. Even as someone that only sells information now, this new year, I'm not even supposed to mention any cannabis brands in California that aren't licensed. These are like the new rules that have just come into play. Otherwise, I can face fees and legal penalties, all while the brands in Colorado, Washington, and California that counted on High Times cannabis cups to move products were stuck when High Times stopped allowing vending and then stopped coming through altogether. The cannabis events that were fine are now being busted, and people across DC are getting arrested. So those are 3 different instances, me just talking about cannabis brands. You guys have seen my web series, but all of that stuff shifts because the industry is evolving and you have to be ready to evolve with it. Number 5, not designing a lifestyle around this opportunity. When you come into cannabis, you have the opportunity of a lifetime to design the life you actually want to live. You know, like in the rest of the world, it's kind of like you work and then your life is separate, but we fail to take into account the fact that those are our most focused hours of energy, and they're going towards something that we're not factoring into our lives, but it has a huge effect on our lives. So not taking the opportunity to recognize the entire picture of things and design what life it is that we want to live with this new opportunity to start again. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs getting into the industry make. A lot of them find themselves a slave to their businesses after they get in, and that's what they were trying to escape so that they could actually live life. But if you don't take time to do it, it's not going to happen for you. Your life isn't just going to line up perfectly like a set of dominoes. So designing your life, that only happens if you do so intentionally. So pausing before you take action to think about whether you want passive income, want to work a couple times a week, or want to be in a demanding and celebrated full-time job. Whether you want to vacation 6 times a year, or you want to be a digital nomad like me, working from your laptop when you feel like it, from wherever the F you want. Whether you want to be an expert that educates around the world, or you want to tuck your kids into bed every night. All of those things you have to decide. You didn't do this before your current career. That's why you're still watching the video. How you doing? Hey. Before you get into the space, taking time to pause and decide the life that you want from the opportunity the space is providing. That's so, so, so important. And last but not least, number 6, thinking you need a bucket of cash to get started. Simply isn't true. In fact, I'm going to show you how to get started in this industry for less than $250 in my next video. Now, I know some of you are thinking, I don't know if I can bring a value to this space, but I can tell you this. I've worked with so many unique individuals coming here. If someone is paying you to do something now, it's because you're providing value to them. You can bring that value to weed and bank on it. Others might ask, well, I'm just a grocery bagger. What can I bring to the table? To that I say, if you don't have the drive to figure out how to go from bagging groceries or salting fries to the register or drive-through, you probably don't have enough drive to start or sustain your own business. So this ain't for you. I'm not trying to sell this industry as a get-rich-quick scheme or crypto Q4 2017, still hurting from it. What I'm trying to relay is the fact that there is so much opportunity for you to transform your life in this new industry as long as you are willing to work for it. In my next video, I'm going to share the quickest way to get into the cannabis industry. So stay tuned. But right now, I want to know, if you knew there was no chance you'd fail, what would you do in this new industry? How would you design your dream life around this opportunity? If you can't say it, you can't claim it. So get typing, and you'll be that much closer to owning your financial future. I'm Charlotte Green. See you guys back at the Fight Club, charlottegreen.com. Peace.